This is my review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so this episode was a little bit interesting. I actually liked this episode, and I'm assuming I'm going to like the next part of the episode. After capturing Enya, the group actually heads to a nearby town in the center of Pakistan. I think the capital. I forget what the name of the capital is, but anyway, they head to the capital of Pakistan, where we see a really great scene of Joseph Joestar haggling with a street merchant to try and buy, I don't know what it was called, but it was basically considered Pakistani hamburger, according to the narrator. And the narrator actually goes step by step on how to haggle in this episode, as Joseph Joestar plays it out. So Joseph haggles with the guy, gets the meat, gets the sandwich or whatever to feed the group, and then turns around to discover that Enya is actually awake because she's been asleep the whole time. She slept through the whole trip, but she's suddenly awake, and she's freaking out, noting that somebody is there to kill her. And case in point, the merchant that Joseph was just talking to happens to be a Stan user named Steely Dan, or Dan of Steel, or whatever you want to call him. I'm gonna call him Steely Dan. But Steely Dan remarks that he was sent there to kill Enya because he points out that Dio doesn't really trust anybody, even somebody as close to him as Enya was. And case in point, suddenly Enya's face just erupts with a bunch of tentacles sticking out of her face, and she starts slowly bleeding to death. And they try to stop the bleeding and fail, but it's revealed that the tentacles are actually caused by a flesh bud and not actually Steely Dan's stand. Well, they sort of are, but I'll get into that later. So they try to convince. So in her final moments, they manage to cut free the tentacles, at which point it's revealed that they're actually made from Dio's own cells, and Joseph tries to plead with Enya to help him so that he can save his daughter. He doesn't actually say that he's gonna save his daughter, but she refuses because she's that enamored with Dio, and then she dies. At which point the group, very conflicted over what they're supposed to do now, decide to actually fight Steely Dan. And as Steely Dan is giving an explanation of his stand and how it works, Jojo actually does wind up punching Steely Dan right in the stomach, which inevitably winds up sending Joseph flying as well. And at which point it's revealed what Steely Dan's stand actually is. He only gives us a name at this point, but then he goes into full explanation of what his stand actually is, pointing out that his stand, called the Lovers, is actually a very microscopic and very weak stand, pointing out that it's possibly the weakest stand in existence, but points out that the Lovers is actually a very small stand that can enter people's brains and basically mess with their central nervous system. So while it isn't exactly powerful, it is able to mess with people from the inside out. So in regards to that, it could be extremely powerful once it's inside a person, but as on its own, it's kind of useless as a stand. And sure enough, we get a zoom in through Joseph's ear canal, and we see the stand itself, and it looks kind of like a little crab monster. But yeah, Steely Dan points out that he's already kind of won the battle, pretty much, because there's really no way they can get the stand out before it kills Joseph in 10 minutes. Although they do try their best, and they do eventually come up with a plan to get it out of there. I'll go into that in a minute. But he points out that he kind of implanted the stand inside of Joseph when he was trying to save Enya, and that when Enya died, the stand went inside of Joseph with another flesh bud, which is now being implanted into his brain, hence why he's going to die in 10 minutes. And Jojo, despite it being his best efforts to try and punch the dude in the face fast enough so that he'll die before the stand has a chance to register what's going on, he eventually realizes that he can't actually win this fight with violence, and the rest of the Joestar group runs off to think of a plan, while Jojo keeps Steely Dan busy and keeps him entertained. So basically, the rest of the episode is of Jojo kind of being forced to do whatever Steely Dan wants and having no real choice in the matter, which Jojo isn't entirely comfortable with. While the B plot of this part is how Joseph and the rest of the group eventually find a TV shop and try to think of and use it to create a spirit picture so that they can see what's going on inside of Joseph's brain. So they're trying to figure out how to deal with the stand, and eventually Kakyoin comes to the conclusion that the best way to deal with the stand is to fight it on its level, and surmises that if stands are created from the psychic energy of the users, then they can be as big or as small as the users want them to be. And sure enough, they managed to shrink down Hierophant Green and Silver Chariot and send it right into Joseph's ear canal, so that they can actually go in after it, using the bloodstream to get around. Which is actually a pretty cool idea for a concept, not gonna lie. So the battle isn't like an external thing taking place outside in the open area. It's taking place inside a person. And that's actually a pretty cool idea for a concept. I'm not gonna lie. That's a really fun idea for a concept. I mean, there are other things that have done it before, like for example, Cells at Work, which I reviewed. That was kind of the main premise of that show, but this is kind of like a shonen battle series, not like a comedy adventure series like Cells at Work was. But yeah, they go in. But yeah, Jojo just kind of has to keep Steely Dan busy and keep him safe and out of harm's way until they can actually defeat the lovers and finish off Steely Dan. While the stand itself is inside of Joseph Joestar, because they kind of can't fight Steely Dan, because if they try to hurt Steely Dan, it'll hurt Joseph in return, because of the fact that the lovers is actually connected into Joseph's brain and is damaging his brain cells as they try to fight it. So it's an interesting concept. They have to defeat the lover. They have to defeat a stand user without actually attacking the stand user. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's really all I got to say on this episode. It's a cool little concept for an episode. Other shows have done it before, but it does do something different with it. So yeah, if you guys have seen this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also ring the bell so you get all the notifications, because YouTube's notification system is a mess, to say the least. And also check out my Facebook and my Twitter in the description below as well to keep up to date with what's going on with the channel. I post updates over there, but I also post game development related stuff for games that I like and things that I like, and whatever I wind up finding on the internet, I will post there. And also, if you guys want to help support the show, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I would definitely appreciate if you did that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!